BODDAMN, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about 3 tips on how to get a little bit more aesthetic. What's going on, guys and gals? Chris with the BODDAMN channel. This channel is all about food, fitness, and how to live an active, healthy lifestyle. And in this video we're going to talk about some aesthetic tips which are really important. Hey, but first, make sure you follow me on Instagram at BODDAMN and also get the free muscle building guide. It's the first link down below. Being aesthetic is a lot of fun. I mean, it leads to all sorts of, I think, opportunities in life, leads to increased social confidence, and it's just one of those things that if you are to achieve one of those aesthetic kind of levels, you almost don't let it go because people know you for that, right? And it becomes part of your identity. So being aesthetic is actually a really good thing, and it can elude a lot of people because they figure, you know, I gotta eat so much, now I gotta only work out in these parts, and I gotta do this workout plan, and then they find out years later that they're not as aesthetic as they could have been. So I'm gonna give you 3 tips on how to really get your aesthetic game up. Number 1 is work on your shoulders first, all right? A lot of people are just like, going into the gym on Mondays and they're pounding chest away, you know, all that kind of stuff. They're working on bigger arms and stuff like that. And what you're left with is, you know, someone with a really good chest and nice arms, but like small shoulders. It just doesn't look right, right? So I always say, like, work on the shoulders first. It's so important, and work on the, you know, the width of it. And also if you turn to the side, like, work on the actual size of the shoulder itself, okay? So very important, you know, when you're going through your training, if you already have genetically like kind of bigger shoulders, then yeah, put chest first. But most people out there that I see have, you know, they're lacking shoulder width, and they're lacking shoulder kind of like cuts. And it's because they put a lot of effort into their chest first, which, you know, it doesn't make much sense to me. So if you work on your shoulders first, you'll start getting that wider look, and then it can kind of taper in really nicely, and then you can kind of build your legs out a little bit. But yeah, so shoulders first, then chest, all right, then legs, and then arms. That's the order that I would proceed in the gym when you're doing your workouts. Before we get to number 2, also make sure on your training days to eat a little bit bigger than your non-training days. It's very important. So that way, you know, all the muscle that you're breaking down, you're replenishing it with amazing nutrients and food and protein, all that kind of stuff, like immediately on those days. You kind of want to get into maybe a caloric surplus on those days, and you know, consider maybe going down to maintenance calories or a little bit less on days that you don't train as heavy. Tip number 2 is wear darker and tapered clothing. So important, right? Even if you're not as aesthetic with your shirt off, you can become aesthetic when you're going out at night, that kind of stuff, with the right kind of clothing. Like, so this, for example, is just, I wouldn't even say it's a standard tank top. Like, this one flows really well like this. My shoulders are relatively broad, so, you know, the look is good. But this right here is one of my own tank tops, and I like it. It's good. It's nice and slimming, and it's dark. So remember, you know, slimming, dark, tapered, those are the kind of things that you want to be wearing. I have 2 examples of, you know, slimming type things. One comes from H&M right here. I think this shirt was like 15 bucks. So if you're on kind of like a budget or something like that, you can get a shirt that is, you know, slim fit. And this is an extra large. I usually wear large, but I've shrinked this, you know, a couple times, and it does fit really well. Now you can kind of see right here that while it says it's slim fit, you know, when it's on the body, it is slimmer than a normal shirt. But true slim fit you can find with awesome companies out there now, such as like Everford, Alphalete, there's Golden Aesthetics, there's Rise, there's BM Fit. Like, all these make tank tops and, you know, kind of going out looking stuff that is a little bit more slim. Here's an Alphalete shirt right here, and you can kind of tell this is a scoop neck Alphalete shirt, and it is a little bit longer also, right? And it rounds at the bottom as opposed to the H&M one, which is straight. And this one is a lot slimmer, and this one is an extra large as well. So an Alphalete extra large versus an H&M normal t-shirt extra large. This would be more of like a good going out kind of shirt. A little bit more everyday wearing, slimmer shirt, something like this, honestly. I like that a lot better. And it feels better, and you don't look like you're just walked out of a club like during the week, you know. Whereas as opposed to this one right here, this one's a little bit more like nighttime, nightlife, and even gym wear too. You know, this is good in the gym. I wear it typically like in the winter times and stuff like that. So, but just an example of, you know, tapered, dark equals slimming look. All right, and that in and of itself will make you appear more aesthetic. Number 3 is get a tan, all right? So, you know, however you do it, a lot of people want to go to tanning beds and that stuff. I always say, like, go outside and get the real thing. So whether you go out to a pool party or the beach with your friends or a lake or you're on a boat or anything like that, like, a real tan is, I think it's just the way to go, right? But if all you have is dark and gloomy skies in your hometown and you have those tanning bed kind of things, then I guess go do that. But getting a tan is awesome because it reveals shadows, and shadows go into the, you know, the cuts and the valleys of your body, and it makes it appear more aesthetic as long as you're putting your muscle mass in strategically good places, right? But yeah, it basically shows more of your effort. And if you have a good tan, you don't want to be over tan, you don't want to be like, you know, pasty white. You want to have that like kind of good tan look. Now, you know, I am half Filipino and half French, so I do have a base tan kind of all year round, but I can get kind of white if I really want to. And if I spend a lot of time, you know, out in the sun, I can get extremely, extremely dark. So there's kind of this like middle ground for someone like me. And when I find it, you feel better, right? You feel good. Compliments run high, that kind of stuff. But if you're too dark, then it's like people come up to you like, hey, you're like super dark, and they're comparing themselves to you. So you want to get this right kind of tan that gets the aesthetics and the cuts and all kind of stuff, but really not much more than that. You don't want to go overboard, and it can get easy to go overboard. So just be careful with that. But that's the third tip I wanted to give you, is get a tan. It's so important, and try to have one year round. It's cool to like be out in the sun, even in the cold months and stuff like that. Just put mittens on, some pants, some socks, maybe something on your head, and get out in the sun. Like lay in a chair, and you won't be as cold as you think. So anyways, those are the 3 tips I wanted to give you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next BODDAMN video. Take it easy. Goodbye!